just clear. And it's got some properties. It's got some properties. Okay. I'm a very good reviewer. What's up guys, welcome back. Today is, as promised, the first of a few unofficial Full Face Fridays that we're going to be doing, just because it just so happens that those are the products that I have been getting into my possession lately, have been new products from brands that I have like a full face of, that I've kind of been keeping up with from the start. And today is our old friend, our girl, Kosas. I was trying to think if I would assign Kosas an astrological sun sign. She's a Gemini, and I won't be taking questions. So yeah, I'm going to be using all the things that I still have in my possession, and if I have decluttered them, I will speak to that and use other things that I have that, you know, might be new to you. I've gotten some really, really cool stuff in the mail from some really, really cool brands lately, so I'm trying to kind of shoehorn those into different videos before I do other reviews, just making the most of my on-camera time. I think we might be a little blown out. I got a little excited. You know, I don't know about you guys, but like, light equals happiness for me. I'm definitely that person that I'm just like, I can't be the main character if I don't have a spotlight on me at all times. Like, dim lighting makes me start like shriveling and getting really sad. I think I'm a plant. So yeah, the only thing that's gonna be different is that I probably won't have final thoughts at the end. I'm just gonna talk about each one as I go. Future Kackie here. I forgot to mention that the whole reason we're doing this, not just because I love this brand and I love using their makeup, but I want to talk about the hot liner and I want to use it today and I'm going to swatch all of them for you. Okay, back to me. So let's go ahead and jump in. The chair, it gives me too much power. I'm drunk with power. Like, boss baby. I'm gonna go in with some more of my Verdant Force Field from Phytosurgeons. We've been rewatching Schitt's Creek and I'm like, Verdant Force Field! This wine is awful! Get me another glass. More roses, the best. I gave myself a haircut last night, and yes, I pulled it back because that was what went with the outfit, but look at how healthy she is. She's thriving. Oh. First things first, we're going to be using, I actually cut my finger yesterday while I was cutting my hair. And it feels terrible. Thank you for asking. Ouch. We're gonna start with the Revealer Foundation. This retails for $42 and you get 1 fluid ounce. I have it here in the shade Very Light Cool 120, but it's a pretty good match for me. I have 2 other shades that they sent. My goodness, the back of my hands is dry. What in the world? They look horrible. And I'm gonna use a sponge. I just find that that's what works with this. A nice damp sponge-a-rooney. You know, I feel bad because this formula has been eclipsed by all the other releases that happened at the time. That is not the right shade for me anymore. Okay, we'll put that on the high points and maybe I'll be able to dig out a darker shade. Because that's like really, really light. Huh. Eh. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe we'll make it work. Maybe I just don't feel like getting up and re-white balancing my camera. Maybe this is truth serum. Lately I've actually not liked putting as much stuff like right here because in all the pigmentation and everything, I get these freckles on my lip and I love them. I think that they're very, very cool. So what mostly ends up happening is that I blow my nose almost momentarily after I get done doing my makeup, most of the time while I'm still doing my makeup, and it just wipes it off right there anyway, so it gives me the look that I want. That wasn't very much, and I'm not even sure we got like an even coat, really. It's pretty flexible in terms of coverage though, which is nice. Oh, sometimes though. I mean, a beauty blender doesn't always agree with every formula, but it can feel so nice and hydrating. All right, I'm just layering this a little bit, building it. I'm not gonna build it like under my eyes and stuff because I'm gonna be going in with my Revealer Concealer, which remains one of my favorite things. That was, I think, maybe the only one of the only sponsored videos I've ever done on the reveal of a product. Because most of the time it's like I want to make sure that I'm giving a really unbiased review, but it blew me away so much that I was like, I feel ironclad in this recommendation and man, it is really borne out. Like, it is one of the most, I think one of the most popular concealers like on the internet. I'm done applying my makeup. This just feels really good. Okay, let's do some concealer. I have been using 1.5C because it's just a better complexion match for me. Let's see if it's darker. I don't think it should be than that foundation because it's 1.5 versus 120, but well, 150, 120, maybe. Carry the zero, move the decimal point. Mommy had her Wheaties this morning. Actually, I have been on a health kick, to be totally honest. Like, I have to be honest with myself about the fact that like I tend to go in waves with these things, and that like, you know, every time I think I'm changing my habits forever and ever, you know, some of it sticks and some of it doesn't, but something that I'm kind of realizing is just like how bad for my skin and my sleep like my nightly glass of wine is, and how it's kind of started to become 2 glasses of wine, and I'm like, nah, I've been here before, I don't want to do this anymore. And that really where it began was the need for like a very, very sudden, acute kind of release once the baby went to bed, because it used to be so stressful having a baby in general. But now he's just a little erratic person that lives in our house who, you know, mostly stays out of immediate danger as long as we can kind of, you know, keep mostly an eye on him. We've gotten used to his rhythms. He knows how to listen. He can kind of communicate pretty well. And yeah, he's still, again, kind of chaotic and erratic, but I don't feel that like, thank God he's asleep feeling that I used to feel when he was an infant and just was so unpredictable, and like he's just, everything he did stressed me out, not out of any kind of malice, but like he barfed up every meal. You know what I mean? Like, there's just nothing that can make that not stressful when you really, really care about the survival of a human you created. And it's like, I just fed them and then they just barfed everywhere. Like, and they would barf in his sleep and stuff like that. Like, it was just immensely stressful. And now it's not. And I'm just feeling like, I don't know, it has outlived its necessity in my life and I'm not really enjoying it anymore. Okay, so we're gonna put a pin in that for a second because I need to talk about some stuff I don't have from Kosas. One thing is their bronzer, because they've sent it to me a couple of times and I keep kind of giving it to friends because the shade is just, the lightest shade is just a little bit too dark and the wrong undertone for me. It's too orange. So we'll be using a different bronzer. Which one shall we use today? I want to get more use out of the Rose Ink one in preparation for my video. I just watched Hannah do hers and she had really nice things to say about the formula. That's one thing I'll give her. She's easy to locate. Doesn't look like anything else in my collection. I've been listening to this book that I heard about when Hannah, my friend Hannah Louise Poston, was on the Financial Diet podcast called Financial Confessions. And okay, this is like, I'm not grabbing enough here. I might agree with Hannah. I think it's too orange. It is a nice formula, but I think it's too orange. She was talking about this book called The Hacking of the American Mind, and about how we have conflated the ideas of pleasure and contentment, pleasure and true happiness, and that they are actually linked to very distinctly different hormones in the brain, but also that those hormones are read through the same receptors in the brain, and so they kind of can't, like, you can't do both at once. And a lot of times when we mistake one for the other, we actually end up driving less long-term happiness in favor of short-term pleasure, and short-term pleasure almost always has a hangover. I mean, that's literally in the introduction of the book. It dives a lot deeper than that. And so I listened to it on Audible. It was just a lot of positive messaging, a lot of what I knew, and a lot, like, I will say, his language around fatness and fat people is pretty problematic. He also wrote a book about kind of the vilification of sugar, and I do believe that sugar is like linked to a lot of really bad things, but man, he harps on it. He like doesn't shut up about it. Like, I really feel like we could get the point with like 20% of the mentions in the book about how much he hates sugar. Nonetheless, if you can kind of get past that, there were some really, really great things that like resonated for me because it kind of linked it back to science, like linked it back to hormones. I think that, you know, receptors and stuff in the brain and synapses and everything, like I'm going to go ahead and give him the benefit of the doubt on being the expert there, not me. And it was just very helpful for me to kind of put it into those terms, because I was like, oh, okay, well, this is why I'm feeling like more and more unhappy the more I do certain things in my life. Like I knew that that was the case, but I didn't know why, and now I know why. Very, very excellent read/listen. Okay, that was some bronzer. I'm gonna do a little bit of contour here. This is my Well People Buffing Complexion Brush. Don't sleep on Well People brushes. Ooh, yeah, so I don't think they have a contour really, and they put all their blushes and stuff on sale a while back, so I'm not sure if they're going to reformulate them or just repackage them or what, but I definitely feel like Kosas is in kind of like a constant reiteration. Like they're always kind of rebirthing themselves, and I like that. They stay nimble and they keep my attention, because every time they put something out, it doesn't always turn my crank. Like the 10-second eyeshadows, I didn't love them in the first place, but the old formula was definitely better than the new formula. But still, I still like respect their game, you know? I feel like they have a lot of actual passion behind the formulations of their products. Like it's kind of funny because I feel like they get, you know, lumped in with something like Say Beauty in a lot of ways, because they have a similar demographic and similar price point. They put out similar products sometimes. But I mean, that's why I get so, what's the word? Just like I feel nothing about Say, and sometimes they put like a kind of like not great taste in my mouth because I don't feel the passion. Like nothing sparks joy about their products to me. So that is why. It's because I'm kind of comparing them to something like Kosas, where Kosas just kind of, it feels like there is a conscientiousness about the releases that they do, even if they're not always my fave, you know? I also don't have any of the blushes anymore. I decluttered them. All right, let's put my brows on here, and then we're going to depart a bit from Kosas, just temporarily, to do my eyeshadow and stuff, because I do not have any 10-second eyeshadows or anything anymore. But I feel like that's still good information. It's like what's worth it and what's not almost. So this is the Brow Pop. It's great. It's dash shaped on the end, which does, what am I doing? It does give you a little bit of control. I do prefer a tinier tip than that, but I definitely like wouldn't kick her out of bed. The main thing here, and the reason that I lean on these pretty heavily on my channel, is just because there are 10 shades and a clear of the brow gel, and there's just lots and lots of different, you know, infinite different skin tones and hair colors and things like that watching my channel, and I don't like talking about products that exclude people. You know, it's like, why do so many brands assume that like redheads don't need brow pencils? It's like so stupid. Like I was talking to Hindash about the whole like, ooh, this hack of using your brow pencil as your lip liner and then using your blush as your lip balm or whatever. And he goes, I have black eyebrows. And I was like, yeah, yeah, it's kind of a not for everybody trend, eh? I mentioned this recently, but if you wipe your spoolie off, it's less likely to redistribute like old makeup on there. And that old makeup will like mattify your eyebrows. It's like not what I'm going for. I am, however, really into the strong brow right now. Like every time I'm editing a photo of myself, I'm like, what if I just enhance my brows a little bit more? And then I'm like, ooh, I should do that with my makeup. Boom, baby. So with my squeaky daggum chair, quit it. Stop that. I got some stuff in the mail from Kaleidos. This is the Escape Pod. What? That is so neat. I was thinking about doing something green. What do you guys think? Does that sound fun to you? How's this? So that we're not like wasting your time, I will tell you what I'm gonna do and then I'll speed through it. So I'm gonna use these two right here, maybe a little bit of this brown, and I'm gonna just like build the look. And then we're just gonna kind of accentuate with the green so that I can still get the illusion but also the fantasy. So let's do that. It's giving galactic princess and I'm here for it. We need a lot of other things though. Before I do my mascara or anything else, we gotta decide on a blush. I want to go a little bit subtle here because the green is green. It's quite green. I will give kind of a brief, I don't know, summary of my experience so far. I like the saturation of the mattes in the Kaleidos formula, but they stopped blending after a while. I don't know, I was like having trouble getting them to like spread out. I did a really nice coat of the light color all over my eyeballs to get some really good opacity to start with. But then as I was putting the next darker shade on, the other matte, I was like, okay, It's like, once you place it, it's kind of there. And that was why I didn't end up going in with Terrace, this dark one, because I was like, I'm not in a patient enough mood to put that in exactly the right place right now. And so I'm just gonna leave it. And I actually really like it. It's not super dramatic, but there is kind of a little bit of visual interest there. And then Saturnalia and Galactic Gala, the two greens, they really look almost the same in swatches, but Galactic Gala is actually like a ton like wilder and greener, and you guys saw that when I like layered it on top. So it's like, this is more of like a, I don't know, earth tone leaning green, like it just wants to be a little bit more of like a grass green, and this is more neon basically. But they look super similar in the pans. I didn't say the prices of all these things. I was trying to say them as I went, but like I have a really hard time deviating from my normal flow. So the Revealer Concealer is $28. And for that you get 0.2 fluid ounces. The Brow Pop is $22. The Tinted Air Brow, which we haven't gotten to yet, is also $22. And then the Air Brow Clear, which we also haven't gotten to yet, is $22, just in case I gosh darn forget again. And this here, the Cloud Set Setting Powder, is $34, and you get 0.33 ounces or 9.5 grams. And it is, oh, it's so good. It is just so pretty. It makes my skin look so bright and smooth without being like super cakey or makeup-y looking. It's very nice, and it comes in a lot of shades. Comes in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 shades, and Alexandra Anelle, or Annelle, is one of the models on there. She's looking so cute. I think this is what I'm gonna do on my cheeks. I think I realized that this shade Ray in the Sunbeam Cheek and Eye shade here from the Chantecaille Summer Collection, their special edition. Everything's a special edition from Chantecaille. Who am I kidding? I realized this is more of a blush than a bronzer. On me, at least. I don't know, it looks like a really pretty kind of like pinky brown eyeshadow, but the way that it goes on the skin is super blurring. See? Starts to look like a blush more than a bronzer. I'm applying that with the 102 from BK. I've gotten a lot more use out of this than I thought I was going to once I finally decided that I want to use it as a blush. I mean, as you might imagine, I do tend to get excited about blushes more than I get excited about bronzers, and it's just such, you know, it's one of those formulas where I can just kind of check out and do too much and everything's fine. It's really, really nice. And it works great as an eye color as well. And it's not too shiny. It's just a nice like blur that reflects a little bit. It also helps me, I mean, I still think it's stupid that they only put out one shade because I still think that like this is not gonna have the same effect on everybody, but it does make me feel a little bit better thinking about it as a blush tone than as a bronzer, because a bronzer, like, it's despicable. I'm not eager to forgive them, but I do realize that like there is a double standard there. And then we need just like a little something right here, don't we? You know what I think it is? I think it's the Bare Minerals bronzer in Kiss of Pink, because that's the combo that I've been going for lately. Say what you want, man, about like paying more and getting more for brushes and stuff, but the Eco Tools brushes, these little like interchangeable guys, this fluffy end right here, so nice. It's one of the most like open, not super dense. What is the opposite of dense? Sparse. Sparse brushes that's like very reliable for applying to kind of larger areas of skin and still really dispersing the product evenly. Again, drunk with power on the chair. I apologize. I'm sorry for making you seasick. And then I can go back in and kind of clean up where I always get way too close to my nose right here. And it's not too close for everybody. It's just like, it starts to make my face look like it's a different shape. See? Better. Typically I would take a break and zoom through my brows, but since we're talking about Kosas today, and Kosas is one of the brands that I rely on heavily for my brow game. This is really going on empty here, but this is the Medium Brow Air Brow. Medium Brow? Medium Brown Air Brow. A good bit of pigment, a little bit of hold. I like this formula. It's not my absolute favorite formula, but it's a very good formula, and it still really wins for me just because it gives me the ability to offer a formula that anybody can find their shade in it. I always joke that Glossier like threw themselves a freaking parade when they released a red boy brow. It's like, come on guys. Maybe I'll start using medium chocolate brown, give myself an even darker brow. I've just been really into it. And then, actually, I'm gonna wait until after I do my mascara to do the clear. Look how manky it is on the inside. It's so gross. Because I always put it on top of other brow products and then it all just gets back in there. It's really gross looking, but the packaging is divine, isn't it? Well, that's a lot of fun. And we're gonna go in with the clear. This is to just define everything after I fill them in, really fluff them up. But this is just very much a clear version, no formula difference. So still nice, but like if you want more hold than the pigmented version, this isn't gonna give you necessarily more hold, but it will give you definition. Do you see how there's like hair here and not hair there? It starts to drive me crazy. Now I will fuss over that little spot, because it's like this battle of getting pigment there, but it looking believable. And I know Glossier has that little brow pen. Girl, I invented that. I've been here the whole time, as Marshawn Lynch would say. And I have to stop there before I just turn the skin under there red. I'm feeling so flipping cute. Look at my cheeks. Oh, that has nothing to do with the makeup that we're actually talking about, but like, I mean, of course it does. It's like an $82 freaking blush bronzer from Chantecaille. Of course it makes my cheeks look incredible. Anyway, the main thing we're here to talk about today are these new Kosas hot liners, hyaluronic acid plumping lip liners, and there are 7 shades, and I will now commence with swatching them for you. Moira's in the building. Congratulations, you played yourself. There are 6. And I just spent a really long time looking for the 7th one, and it doesn't exist. All right, well, joke's on Kackie. Also, they came out with this plump and juicy collagen lip boost, lip balmy thing. You know, it's just clear. And it's got some properties. It's got some properties. Okay. Very good reviewer. She's $25. It is the Plump and Juicy Lip Booster Buttery Treatment. So I think it's kind of supposed to go on before everything else, because they also sent some of their wet oil glosses, which are some of my favorite things in the world. This smells like those, which is lovely. I love that smell. So these, again, I feel like I'm kind of returning from space here. They're called the hot liners, and all that makes me think of is, I know when that hotline bling, that can only mean one thing. Ever since you left the city, you. I know like one Drake song. Any hoodles. These are the shades. And it starts with the shade Supreme. Let's see if I can remember them. Supreme 100 Mega Max Peak Wow. Something that is worth noting is kind of how freaking like thick these are. A waxy sometimes means that like it doesn't have pigment. It's like a waxy, very pigmented. Almost like, I think I talked about this before, but almost like a waterproof eyeliner, but it's more gel textured than that, you know? Like it doesn't have that weird dryness to it. So I think we're gonna start with 100. Okay, I think the balm kind of goes over it because these don't want to grip with that balm on. There we go. Thank you, Kosas. On my lips, it looks really pleasantly pink, but anything that's pleasantly pink on the pencil, once it gets on my lips, it's like too peach or too hot pink or too orange, usually too orange. And that's actually a really pleasant color on me. Because to me, there's a difference between a lip liner that just, you know, looks nice with the lipstick you're wearing, and a lip liner that you can actually put on as like a enhancer for your lips, something that you like a lip cheat, essentially. So they did send 4 of the lip oils. I have Unzipped, which is, I love her so much. I've always loved that shade ever since they did the, what is it called? The like Undressed collection or whatever. We have Unbuttoned here. Another gorgeous one, but a little bit more color than I want today. And then they sent Jellyfish and Dip, which are just from the original collection. They're not that like, you know, glittery, washed out kind of pigment. They're less milky. So this one's just clear. Jellyfish is just clear. It was my original love. I think I've gone through like 3 of them. They're just really, really comfortable and really, really nourishing. And then this is Dip. Dip is beautiful. But again, I mean, it is like a lot, I'll show you, it's a lot of pigment. Not like a lot, but you know what I mean? Like a lot for a lip gloss. I like it. It's very, very healthy looking, but again, we're kind of trying to treat my eyes as the star of the show here, just because I wanted to go with that green today. So I'm going to go with my favy fave, which is Unzipped. Interesting. Since they're so stiff, I assumed they wouldn't blend as well. Because like I've applied them with other lip glosses and they didn't really want to blend, but it's like they want to blend more with this specifically. Maybe it's the oil in it. Isn't that interesting? I love when 2 products really agree with one another. How nice is that? I'm a little blown out if I get too close, so I think that the makeup look looks better when I'm further away. I'm gonna give myself a little spritz here. So these lip liners are $19, and again, there are 6 of them. 6. And they are very much, as you can see, formula-wise and color-wise, designed to go with their wet lip oils. And then there is the new Plump and Juicy Collagen Lip Boost, which I'm not sure. Let's just go ahead and take one quick look at that and see what the claims are on it and why it's like $25 versus $22 wet lip oil gloss, which by the way, I think they knocked $7 off of. I think those were $29 when they first came out, so pretty psyched about that. So it's got peptides to visibly firm and smooth, plump, here we go, oleoactive, visibly strengthens and plumps, hyaluronic acid and concentrated fatty acids to soothe and soften. How to use: wear this buttery treatment at night and or when getting ready for your smoothest, fullest, most cushiony lips. If layering with lip color, blot excess before applying. Boom. We did it right without even knowing it. So it's a lip prep, basically. Almost like a mask, like a sleeping mask. So that is good to know. And that is why it's $25. And it is really nice. It's not super, super heavy. So yeah. That's the vibe today, guys. And I know that, like, you know, like I said, the focal point of this being my eyes kind of is a departure because that's the one thing that wasn't Kosas, basically. And like, I love my cheeks and everything too. But still, they're supporting actors too. The gorgeousness that is that complexion product. And like I said, it was very much overshadowed by the releases that came out around it because everybody put out a lightweight medium coverage foundation at the same time, but this one wears so beautifully. It's really, really pretty on the skin. It's got a lot of shades. They do lean a little bit, tiny bit yellow. And so, you know, go maybe kind of like a little bit cooler than you might think, or go get, you know, shade matched or whatever. But it adapted really well. I do feel like it was kind of light and we made it work. And also, a lot of times with medium coverage, pigmentation will show through and look kind of gray. I feel like this does a really good job of adding coverage while still looking like skin and not kind of over neutralizing everything on my skin and making it look kind of sick underneath, which is like what that Chanel did in my last video. It just made everything look kind of like, wow, I'm not supposed to be seeing that, versus this just looking like a really, really nice, healthy face of makeup where my freckles show through and everything. So I feel smoking hot. And again, I mean, in Hannah's words, I watch the future career of Kosas with great interest. I think that is what she says. Because like I said, there's like, I can feel the passion behind the products. There's something about them that makes them fun to wear. And I think it was because someone had fun making them, and that translates. But also, I feel like they've done a really good job growing alongside their target demographic. Granted, they've changed their packaging over the years and made it kind of a little bit younger and a little bit more like fun, but it's also like nostalgic for people like my age and older. We still remember mechanical pencils looking like this, you know? So I feel like it's a little bit kind of like cute in that sense, where I feel like I still am in on the joke. I appreciate what Kosas does. They feel kind of like, you know, near and dear to my heart in that sense. And I feel like in a lot of ways, in most ways, they have always earned my money. So anyway, guys, I hope that this was fun for you. It was fun for me. And again, I ended up with just an absolutely lovely face of makeup that makes me feel extremely cute with my little bamboo earrings. Are they not? They're just kind of everything. I love them. So yeah, if you guys did like this, don't hesitate to give it the old thumbs up downstairs, and I would really appreciate it if you did. If you want to keep hanging out with me on this channel, you know you do. I would love it if you'd hit that button down below and subscribe. Join us. It's not a cult. I wanted to do it Bailey Sarian, I'm sorry. But yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you so much for watching and for hanging out with me today. I love you so much. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye!